Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is the Chicago Police Accountability Civilian Council that we are joining you live here today. We will be talking about civilian police accountability. Give us a call at 312-738-1060. We'd love to hear from you. I am Nataki Rose, and I will be your guest and your host today. We have a lot of updates to tell you about as far as, I gotta let you see my shirt. We have a lot of updates to tell you about that's going on throughout the Chicagoland with moving Civilian Police Accountability Council. We have some great improvements going on. We are throughout the city of Chicago. We have been setting up tables throughout the city of Chicago, and we have been protesting throughout the city of Chicago through the wintertime. Right now, we are on the FOP contract. The FOP contract is up June 30th of this year. And so the FOP contract is over 50% of Chicago's budget. Yes, and I'm going to continue to talk about the FOP contract because as long as the FOP contract and their budget outranks everybody else's budget, then that's a problem here in Chicago. That means that all the Black caucus in the city council, the whole city council on the south side and the west side, aldermen are voting for this budget. And we are asking the public to call their aldermen and ask why should the Chicago Police, FOP, Fraternal Order of Police, be awarded half of our budget. Ronnie Manuel plays this game every time. The last time Ronnie Manuel was running, he had a police officer on, a retired police officer, saying that if you raise the property taxes and that he don't want his property taxes raised. Well, that was one big lie and a campaign lie because, as you know, Ronnie Manuel is raising the property taxes and to cover the FOP contract and to continue to cover the Chicago Police Department budget, he raises our property taxes. And a lot of that property taxes that we're paying into property that's not even appraised at a high value now because of the unoccupied businesses, the vacant lots in your communities, the vacant lots in the neighborhood, the vacant schools, the 59 vacant schools that's in the community. Well, that brings the property value down. So you have a mayor that bought your property value down and then stick you with high property taxes. So we at C.A.R.P.R, this is community control. That's what we want, community control over the community. So if we're paying higher property taxes, but there's no property worth paying, then what are we doing? We're paying for the FOP contract, and we're paying for Chicago police. And a lot of people say, more police, the shootings, they killed the kids, they killed this. Well, poverty incites violence, as I keep saying on this show. If you have a community with no school and no trauma center, there's no trauma center in most of the high crime communities. And if you have no trauma center, no schools, then there's going to be high violence. The people that run the business in our communities, the Asians, the Koreans, and the Middle Eastern people, the Arabs that run the little front corner store, they do not invest in our community. They come to our community every day, and they don't reinvest into our communities. We as a people, as Black people, we are people of consumers. We love to consume everything. We love for all the Korean people to do our nails. Why don't we buy and shop with our own people? Please give me a call at 312-738-1060. So why we don't shop with our own people, and the people that we do shop with, they don't invest in our community. So that causes high violence and crime in our community, because they're the people that have the businesses. They're not investing into your schools. They're not eating at your restaurants, and they're definitely not buying your products because their product is in your store. Their product is in your community. So if you have no one investing into no one's future, you can't even get a child center where children can play safely at besides the YMCA, and you don't have no drug rehab centers over here, you're going to have a lot of violence. So you have no trauma center, no drug rehab center, no place for children to go. You have, even the governor is cutting out Meals on Wheels. So, I mean, the president is cutting out Meals on Wheels. So if you constantly have this cut out, that cut out, this cut out, then you're going to constantly incite poverty and violence on the community. So that's why we're here at C.A.R.P.R. We're talking about civilian police accountability, holding the police accountable for their actions, holding the state's attorney accountable for their actions as they're in our community, holding them accountable for when they lie on the police oath, under oath, when they are on the stand lying in their police reports. We want that to end. But also, as Eddie Johnson goes and begs the Jeff Sessions to add on more time to people to serve more time, I wish he can beg for an investigation of the Chicago Police Department from Richard Daley, the first Daley. They have been known to incite violence on black communities, and they have been paying from Fred Hampton $18 million they paid the Hampton family, and now Chicago Police Department is up to $622 million they have paid out to all Afro-American families. So now they say that we incite violence on our own. Well, I disagree, because Chicago police has 150 to 200 gang black and Latino informer. And so when you have 100 to 250 gang informants that are snitches and rats, these are the people that if they tell on you, they get cut deals. So you have a lot of that. CPD and the state's attorneys will allow someone back on the street if they can give up another person or another gang, or if they can tell where the drugs is coming they will let that person out of jail. Caller, I have a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
You started to show up wonderfully about everybody getting a second chance and all about the police and, but this has been going on for 20 years, like you said, Mayor Daley, right? But now you're talking about snitches and rats.
Yeah, people that sell themselves out to get a better deal.
None of this violence is going to stop unless somebody snitches. Look at all the 3-year-old kids getting killed, 9-year-old kids. Is that more? You want more of that? Of course not. So you can't be up on TV talking about snitches and rats.
Yeah, I can, because them are the people that have did the killings in Chicago. Them are the people that have done the killings in Chicago. When you are on the police informant list, maybe you never been a police informant before. Neither have I. But what I've heard in research, that when you're on the police informant list, you are subject to do and have to do whatever the Chicago police tell you, or you will be back in jail. So yes, there are snitches and people out here that means that they don't want to do their own time for their crime. They rather tell on someone else so they can get off. And yes, they do cut deals with criminals. A criminal had just got out of jail the other day. He was facing 30 years, and he told on his own gang He ratted out, that's what they call it, ratted out his own gang that he had ordered to kill people. And so he ratted them out and told on them so he could get less time. And the federal judge gave him 10, cut his time in half and gave him 10 years in jail, which now he only has to serve 8 years in jail, and he's 30 years old. So if they would not be making deals with people, that young man would have had to stay in jail the 30 years that he was granted. But because they wanted to do a deal with him and to get his other people off the street, they allowed to cut a deal with him and give him less time just to lock somebody else up. I feel like all of them, if you don't make a deal with them, you're making a deal with the devil. So you saying one crime is better than the other one, and it's not. So once you start putting informants on the payroll and start putting informants and paying them, then they're at your will to do anything. And we could talk about the gun, the people that sell the gun. Now, Eddie Johnson I did not hear Eddie Johnson, or I did not hear Mary Emanuel beg Jeff Sessions or beg or Bruce Rauner ask them to start prosecuting the gun stores that are selling the guns, the people that are purchasing the guns, the gun shells that are found. You can run them through some forensic science, and you can find out exactly who owns this gun, where did this gun come from, who sold this gun, how are the guns getting here. The average black person in the city of Chicago cannot afford to buy cases of M16s and grenades and all type of weapons of mass killings, for mass killings. These guns are being put in the hands of these people in our community. They're either being stolen off the trains by the Chicago police, or the informants are stealing the guns for the Chicago police. But the average person that's in our community cannot buy or purchase the gun. And them purchasing the gun is not right if you don't go through the legal channels of purchasing the gun. So you have a lot of people that should take responsibility on the 3-year-old that got killed, on the 8-year-old and the 11-year-old that got killed, because the person that pulled the trigger, the person that sold that person the gun, and the person that got the gun into the city of Chicago, we don't know where these guns coming from. Eddie Johnson, all thing he says is about we have to stop the killing. He never says how to stop the guns from coming in besides turning a gun in for $100. How are these guns being shipped? How are these guns being distributed in Chicago? At one time, we know that at one point guns used to be shipped and distributed in the dead bodies of Vietnam veterans that was coming home, and they were shipping guns over here through their caskets. So we don't know how far this is going, but one thing I can tell you is that the person that's unemployed, that's in a gang, that has been repeatedly arrested by the police, that's not the person that can afford to buy the gun. But they are supplying this person with guns. So it's a big picture to look at, but it's easy to blame us in our community. It's easy to point the finger, but it takes a real community to take responsibility. And so how do we take responsibility? That's why we want community control over our community. We can allow businesses to continue to come in our community and not help us rid the problems in our community. You have, as I said before, you have community control when you look at the North Side and the Rickett family, how Tom Tooney has allowed the Rickett family to buy the whole community. So you can't move in that community unless you're paying $2,000 a month. You can't move in that community unless you have to have a job. But if you don't have a good job, so You have a hotel coming in that community. You have businesses in that community. You have liquor in that community. This community is thriving, but they also have community control over that community, economic control over their community. So when you have economic control over your community, you have low crime rates because you're bringing the business and the money into the community. So when you look at the south side and the west side, they have no community control. When you look at the Chicago Teachers Union, they have no community control. So community control is putting the power of the power in the hands of the people. And they have done that on the north side. They have done that on the northwest side in Wicker Park. They've done it over in Ravenswood, where the mayor lived. They have put the power of the community in the people's hands. So therefore, you can have all your businesses open up, and you don't have a lot of violent crime in the community, in their community. And so that's what we want on the south side. And having civilian community control over your community is a good thing, because now you know what's coming into your community. And so the Black Caucus and the Black Aldermen, they have let anyone come into our community, do business in our community, and have no type of investment in our community. We don't have nothing but liquor stores, closed schools, vacant lots, and not even no hotel. Wrigleyville, I don't even know where they're going to put the hotel at, but they don't even have hotels in Chicago on the south side. After you come out of C.A.R.P.R, once you get on Stony Island, 67th and Stony Island, back to 95th and Stony Island, you have no type of hotel business, nothing but fast food and fried food businesses. So that's not community control. That is called chain control. That's called alderman control. That's not community control. That's not what the community want in their community. And so that's what C.A.R.P.R is here for. That's why we meet up every Monday at 6 p.m. from 6 to 8, 1325 South Wabash in Chicago, Illinois, Suite 105. We meet every Monday to talk about these issues, to see how are we going to pass C.A.R.P.R and to gain community control over our communities. We meet and we do tabling on Saturdays. We just did tabling this Saturday at 642 East 47th Street in front of Mishi's Beauty Supply Store. This is the beauty supply store that attacked a lady in North Carolina, accused her of stealing like $2 eyelashes, but that he still had no right to put his hands on her. So that's what we're talking about, community control. So now you feel like because you own a business or you own 25 businesses that it's okay that an employee put their hands on someone, even if they thought she was stealing something or they thought whatever they thought, they didn't call the police. And that's how Trayvon Martin got killed, by somebody that wasn't the police, that felt that I'm going to put this black person in a place. And that's not what we're here for. We're not here to be the police over people. We are here to respect people and to follow the law. And when you do call the police, you have the right to call the police, but the police do not have the right to disrespect you or to kill you or to lie on you or to abuse you while you're in their custody. So a lot of people got that mixed up, saying like, oh, they're against the police. No, we're against police brutality. We're against police lying on their police reports. And so people try to substitute that by saying, oh, look at this, because we're black, and you feel like, oh, you shouldn't complain about police brutality because this 3-year-old got killed or this 11-year-old got killed. Oh, so maybe they would have never died if they would have never closed all the trauma centers like in our community. So you don't have no hospitals to treat somebody. So if this person shoots someone, whether you black or white or Hispanic, if you have to go to Stroger Hospital, like I said before, if you have to go to Stroger Hospital or if you have to go all the way to Christ Hospital, most likely you are going to die because you can't get immediate medical attention. So I don't know if people thought about that when they thought about closing all the trauma centers, when they thought about closing the mental health facilities, and Chicago police has arrested mental health people that has mental issues. They have even shot and killed. That's the Betty Jones case, where the father was calling for the police, and the police came, wasn't trained in mental illness, and actually killed a person that's suffering from mental illness. So I don't think that's fair, and I don't think that's cool. Caller?
Uh, hel- Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yes, real quick. Yes, there are a lot of bad people out here, policemen, people walking around and everything, but we have a little accountability to ourselves. Here a police officer stop you, and first thing you want to do, man, what in the F you want, do this, and all that kind of
Well,
stuff.
that's not everybody doesn't get
No, it's not.
disrespectful
No,
with the
it's not.
police.
But I saw some guy stand on the corner,
I see a
and I
lot
said,
of guys, and I see a lot of people besides black people disrespect the police. I see a lot of white people
yes,
disrespect the police.
I'm not just saying it's black people,
So
but sometimes you just,
we can get arrested by the police, but you cannot disrespect. If you arrest someone, then it's not your job to disrespect them. Yes, they might even, so now you offended that they called you out your name,
yeah.
but
But
at
let
the
me tell you
same
something. That's the
time,
name of the
if you
game.
get arrested, you do not have the right to kill someone. You don't have the right to impose police brutality on that person.
I think everyone needs to sometimes just think. The name of the game is to go home to your family, the officers and the offended. You want to just go home, do what you got to do. Let me go. Thanks for taking the call.
All right. Thank you. Yes, so I was just trying to show where we're gonna be at. We're gonna be at 1325 South Wabash, Monday, every Monday from 6 to 8, CPAC office. We will be tabling throughout the city of Chicago. You might catch us on 47th and King Drive, 35th, the 47th Ward, the 8th Ward, the 6th Ward. We have at least over 20 tables that we have out each week and every day. We also form committees. If you want to be a part of a committee in your ward, get in contact with us. Come and see us. We are 1325 South Wabash. We meet every Monday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Monday. Come and join us. And thank you for joining us. And next week will be our last show. So we will have our chairman, Frank Chapman, in, the co-founder and director of C.A.R.P.R. And so he will be leaving us with some final words for the time that we're going to be off, and giving us some good information and good updates. So come and see us 1325 South Wabash, Monday from 6 to 8, every Monday from 6 to 8. Suite 105. Thank you.